The Inception ending sees Cobb pulling out his totem after returning home to his kids, yet cuts to black before it's confirmed whether the top stopped spinning. One of the most iconic movie endings of all time, the final scene of Inception confirmed director Christopher Nolan's unique approach to blockbuster storytelling. Cobb and his team succeed at performing an Inception at Robert Fisher, but not without sacrifices. Both Saito and Cobb are initially sent to limbo, with the former arriving there first and growing old due to the time difference. Still, Saito remembers his promise to Cobb when they reunite. The final minutes of the movie see Cobb and the rest of the Inception cast waking up at the airplane with an uplifting Hans Zimmer track playing in the background. Fisher does not even suspect what was done to him, and Saito picks up the phone to honor his agreement with Cobb. After a few moments of tension, Cobb gets through immigration and finally returns to the United States. As soon as he arrives home, Cobb pulls out his totem. However, once he hears his children's voices, Cobb doesn't care whether the top stops spinning and goes straight to them. Is Cobb still dreaming at the end of Inception? Whether the top stopped spinning is Inception's biggest mystery. In Inception's ending, Cobb's wife Mal interferes with the final attempt to convince the target, Fisher, to dissolve his father's empire to the benefit of their employer, Saito. She shoots Fisher, prompting the architect, Ariadne, to take them down into limbo to rescue Fisher's damned consciousness. That in turn leads Cobb to confront Mal to overcome his trauma from her death while Fisher is revived, before DiCaprio's hero then retrieves Saito, who is lost in limbo himself. The mission is a success, and everyone seemingly returns to reality. Cobb meets his father-in-law, Miles, at baggage claim, now free to enter the USA thanks to Saito's influence. When they arrive home, Cobb can finally see the faces of his children, but before going to reconnect with them, he spins the spinning top totem established as his clue to whether he's dreaming. Instead of watching whether it falls, Cobb goes outside to see his children and the top remains spinning as the camera cuts to black. Inception doesn't reveal whether the top stops spinning, leaving the movie with an open ending. Inception star Michael Caine revealed something of a behind-the-scenes trick to interpreting Inception's ending. In an old interview with Esquire, Caine, who plays Cobb's mentor and father-in-law, revealed what Nolan told him when he struggled to understand Inception's script. Crucially, Caine's professor Stephen Miles is in Inception's final scene. That would suggest, at least by the rules Nolan established with Caine, that Inception's ending is set in reality and Cobb is not dreaming. However, Nolan's note to Caine may not exactly apply to the end of the movie, whose true meaning goes beyond whether or not Cobb was dreaming. Every clue to whether Cobb is still dreaming in Inception's ending. Inception's ending includes lots of clues to its true meaning. After the scene that sees Cobb and Saito wake up from limbo, Nolan very purposefully shifts Inception into an ambiguous state that leaves it open to the viewer's perception and interpretation of that perception, two big themes of the movie, coincidentally enough. Arguably, Inception's ending is a conscious visual limbo, designed to trap the viewer. From the moment Cobb and Saito wake, there is no more dialogue between the characters and few shots or images that would concretely explain or prove one interpretation. If Cobb is still dreaming, that could mean his entire team and family are all projections. However, if the job has really been completed, everyone is back in reality and everything is happily ever after. There are problems with both outcomes, which is why Inception's ending can be so tricky to decipher. For example, it's interesting to ponder whether Saito was truly powerful enough to make one phone call and end Cobb's problems, or if that was just Cobb in limbo projecting his subconscious wish to go home. Another interesting question is whether Mal's father arranged to meet Cobb at the airport, or if he was there because Cobb was projecting what returning home would look like. At this point, there is a phone on the plane, so Cobb could have easily arranged for pickup. This was also an intricate plan they were hatching, so Cobb likely wouldn't have overlooked a detail like this. In early dream scenes, Cobb is wearing a wedding ring that doesn't appear in the real-world scenes or the end scenes in the airport, which supports the idea that the ending is real. The fact that Cobb uses Mal's totem could mean it doesn't work as a totem and, therefore, he never knows if he's in reality. Still, the only people who know the weight and feel of that totem are Mal and Cobb, and since Mal is dead, Cobb is the only one left who knows the totem's tactile details. Therefore, he could certainly use it as a measure of reality. The totem was not ruined by him using it. In the end, Cobb's kids seem to be the same age and are seemingly wearing the same clothes as they were in his memory, which could be proof he is still dreaming. There are two sets of actors credited with playing Cobb's kids. The daughter, Philippa, is credited as being 3 and 5 years old, while the son, James, is credited as being 20 months and 3 years old. While it might be subtle, there is a difference between the kids in Cobb's memories and the kids Cobb comes home to. How Christopher Nolan explains Inception's ending. Inception's ending is purposely ambiguous. Inception's ending is consciously ambiguous. Nolan intends for the audience to come away with questions and add their analysis. In an interview with EW, the director confirmed his interpretation of Inception's meaning.